Herbert's throwing it. Steps up for the end zone. Touchdown, Quentin Johnston. The flag is down, and the Chiefs are pointing in the direction of the Chargers. We have our first score here in Brazil, Kurt.
But you're going to see just Quentin Johnston right here. He's just going to sneak across in the man coverage there and find an opening, trying to get it to Omarion Hampton out of the backfield. Doesn't have him. Nice find by Justin Herbert to split the two defenders. And great to see Quentin Johnston stepping up with some big plays early in this one. As you see the rough and
it's a Kurt Warner Rams jersey here. Here comes Herbert over the middle to a wide open Will Dissly. Tyler Conklin actually caught it and he fumbled it. And there's flags down now, 3 of them. All sorts of holy heck breaking loose right here. McConkey coming in as Dissly has it dislodged right there by the Chiefs. And here comes,
you're going to see right here is Dissly just sneaking out. Makes it look like run, just slides back in underneath the linebackers, wide open on the other side of the field. And although you don't like the penalty, McConkey just smart going, hey, I'm not going to take it.
Spagnuolo's defense, you saw him looking on, giving up 7 first downs, and Herbert's throwing again. All kinds of time. And another wide open receiver. It's Conklin again, bringing it inside the red zone on a gain of 17, Kurt.
Was better with the play action than the Chargers last year. See the tight end sneak out, running the corner route, flatten it underneath the corner on the outside, and another dime by Justin Herbert.
So the Chargers inside the red zone for a second time. Herbert's throwing. Lots of time. Wide open lad, McConkey. McConkey pirouettes, gets a couple extra yards. And as he gets down close to the 30, Trent McDuffie on the stop, gain of 23. Chargers on the move again.
This is one of the favorite routes by the Chargers, is just the deep over route. They're going to clear it out on the left-hand side with Quentin Johnston run the deep corner. Clear.
Play fake to Hampton. Herbert from the L of the NFL Shield finds McConkey. Nice sliding catch inside the 30.
Their favorite play, they ran it in the first half. We're going to run the deep corner with the deep over. We're going to clear out the backside with Johnston. And we're going to allow Lad McConkey to work that second level. See that play over and over with the Chargers. They hit it for a big play in the first half. Hey, let's come back, dial it up, hit it for another big.
And the Chargers from inside the red zone of the Kansas City Chiefs. Herbert for the end zone. There's Keenan Allen. Touchdown. Los Angeles Chargers. 7, Kurt.
So those guys know each other, but you're going to see a little out route here by McConkey. Grabs the corner. Nobody left on the back end as they try to combo the man coverage. Easy pitch and catch. And those guys over 300 receptions together. So
Herbert's throwing, fading back over the middle. Johnston, touchdown Chargers. Flag is down late after the play. Touchdown flagged for 15 after.
So it's just going to be a deep cross, but you're going to see an all-out pressure. It's man-to-man, no safety help on the back end. Great crossover route by Johnston to turn up the defensive back. And a perfect throw for another touchdown.
And they are going to throw it. And it's Herbert to his right with a wide open lane, and he picks it up and slides down in bounds. What a night for Justin Herbert. Gain of 19, hits the 2-minute warning, and that might have just wrapped it up for the Chargers here in Brazil.
Herbert over the middle, and it's McConkey who's caught both of his completions so far, found a little space there out near midfield.
It's such a great adjustment of Lad McConkey on this route.
You're going to see McConkey. Now, this is a sail route, okay? Now, as he gets to the depth of his route. Freeze it right now. You're going to see Ladd with vision of where do I have to go. He sees this corner. Now throttle it down in that zone.
Play clock at 3. And little disruption on the right side. There's a flag out. Clearly, Max Crosby causing some duress there coming off the left side. Raiders bring pressure. Herbert steps up. On the move, scans end zone. A dart. Keenan Allen working his way in the back line, grabs it, and the Chargers jump on top.
How about the rook, though? Devin White is going to blitz here. Let's watch O'Marion Hampton meet him in the hole. Give Justin Herbert a chance. Now freeze it. Watch Keenan Allen in the back of the end zone. He's going to stick his left hand up. Justin, I'm there. There's that veteran presence. Herbert outside the pocket sees him. That's Hall of Fame stuff by Keenan Allen.
Once you see the quarterback start to break contain and try to buy time and you're in zone coverage, you saw the safety, number 20, Isaiah Polamalu.
Well, he keeps mentioning the future gold jacket. And he talks about Mac almost with awe. Herbert launches downfield. It's Johnston in stride. Touchdown, Chargers. 60 yards. Justin Herbert just flicks it, and after a slow start tonight, number 10's got it cranked up now.
Yeah, this is a beautiful route combination, but sell job by. Watch Quentin Johnston.
2nd and 11. They back out and play coverage. Herbert with a long throw in the sidelines, reaching back to make the grab is the rookie Trey Harris. Picked up 23.
Yeah, this is just what we call like patch your palms coverage. Trying to draw him off sides.
Play action. Herbert down the middle. Caught. First down and much more. Keenan Allen.
He's going to get McConkey on that crosser, and he wants to initially throw that. It's not there. Reset, see his eyes, and there's Keenan Allen on that in route. That's big time ball.
There's just too much space being given on the second level for these in-breakers like this. There's just too much separation between the second and third levels.
They need the Bronco 45. Pipkins will block at the right tackle, and they get the first down. And Johnston breaks free, and there he goes. Can Afunga get him? Chased by Surtain and out of bounds. Near the 13.
Well, he's right there at the point. He's going to line up, work outside, and work on a curl. Just a little back shoulder throw. You don't want to bring him into coverage as they're trying to get the ball out. They forget the tackle's the most important thing. Watch, Surtain's got a chance there. He sees it come up, and Singleton has a chance to take him out. And instead, it just bounces to the outside. Johnston, great job of keeping it.
On this 2nd down and 6, and he's caught him downfield. Caught there, catched him again. 2 big catches on this drive for the rookie to the 28 of Denver. Picks up 17. Good throw by Herbert. First down, Chargers.
Well, Vance Joseph and the Broncos are trying to change things up. They bring pressure from the left. They zone blitz because they can dictate in terms of pressure and those kinds of things. But he loves calling things on 1st and 2nd down.
There's a 2nd down. Got away from Tillman. And caught! What a grab! Flag thrown! Johnston inside the 5. Who has become an offensive force.
Well, Johnston just working across, and then he sees Herbert start to scramble, so he peels it upfield. They're going to call the penalty on Moss, but Johnston, great adjustment. This is where the size comes into play. And Herbert, realizing what he has in a receiver in Johnston, put it up high. And Johnston just coming down with it.
Pass interference. 2nd down and 6. Herbert to the air. Pipkins the block at the right tackle. Got away from Allen. Herbert alive, and the throw. Caught! Touchdown! Touchdown! Allen! What a play! How in the world did Herbert keep that alive?
Of what Bowen wants to do, make him hang on to the ball so they can collapse that pocket.
3rd down, 18. They give Thibodeau a sack. Here goes Herbert. He can run well, and he's got to get to the 45, and he's got the first down.
And then ushered out of bounds by Holland and others in that secondary first down run.
You can't lose outside contain. Watch right here. He's working his way to the outside, but then as the run starts coming out, watch how he jumps to the inside. He's got other defenders to the inside. You don't have to jump inside and maintain outside leverage so that the inside guys make the tackle. Now it's sustaining it for the whole season.
Herbert on 1st and 10. He gets a block from Deculus. Downfield, caught 5, touchdown. Johnston works on Belton. And Banks. 36-yard touchdown pass. And the Chargers are back in business.
Well, this looks like a quarter coverage. So you got the corner who bites on the, see the little stutter and go? But he has safety help over the top, but it's thrown in that part of the field where the safety can't get over. He doesn't expand far enough. Excellent route by Johnston with the stutter to get off the line of scrimmage, or they weren't overlooking the Giants all week long.
2-point try. Herbert will take it himself. Digging. Penetrates. Got it. 2-point attempt up and in, and it's a 3-point game.
Ruling on the field is a successful try.
And Herbert does it himself. It's close, and of course they look at every scoring play again. Need dash 2 sacks, 21 quarterback pressure, 2nd down and 10 for Herbert. No timeouts, winding up and going long, and he's got Johnston at the 40. Grabbed by Flott, brought down there. They can't stop the clock. It ticks away, and the Giants have won their first game of the season.
3rd and short. Blitz coming. Herbert senses, runs. Herbert first down. Still on his feet. Justin Herbert. Foot race. And he's upended inside the 30. The big man takes off and he races down the field for a big gain of 41.
Well, it's man-to-man coverage. And when you're in man, you got to account for the quarterback with someone at the D-line. But when that passing lane escapes, and he just...
On the fake. Herbert throwing. End zone caught for the touchdown. It's McConkey.
Yeah, this is more of a man coverage play again with the halfback to the flat. But McConkey just kind of gets lost as he goes in on a spot route. And Herbert does a great job of finding him. God, they really struggled last week, their connection. That was one surprise. Had the heart of a lion, and this little lad McConkey reminds me so much of Wes Welker.
Herbert and a zone read. He's got some room to roll. Justin Herbert on a 41-yard run earlier takes this one into Commander's territory, and it's good for 18.
Yeah, over-aggressive play here by Reeves-Maben, going with Hampton, and he pulls it. He's got to run.
Haskins in at running back. And a play action on 1st down. Herbert looking deep. He's got McConkey wide open. And McConkey still on his feet down at the 31-yard line. A 22-yard pickup for McConkey.
Charles, you saw Ethan Bonner as the corner in there at the left side for the Miami Dolphins over Jack Jones.
Jack, you mentioned watching Jack Jones on tape last week.
Herbert back to the air. Over the middle, fires a strike. And McConkey's able to hold down. Took a big shot after the catch, but McConkey goes for 16 more.
As a safety, do you admire a guy like McConkey, or does he frustrate you, Jason?
Oh, he definitely frustrates you. Running across the field and trying to run away from leverage.
That's Gadsden on the backside of the formation.
3rd and goal. Herbert on the move. Chased by Sealer. Throws. Touchdown. Ladd McConkey. Great drive by Herbert and the Chargers, and they regain the lead.
Jason, that was not a traditional crossing route, but I think the end result was what you were saying that they like to do.
They like to bring a guy from one side of the field.
Herbert to the air. He's looking for Gadsden, and he's got him. Arande Gadsden picks up a Los Angeles 1st down. Douglas on the tackle. But how about the confidence the Chargers have shown in the rookie Gadsden after the first half fumble?
They knew what they had, but going back to Jason's point, look at how many people are up here on the line. Now watch how many people stay in the block. Right? that big offensive line again. It's like a barge up front.
3rd down and 1. Play fake. Herbert to Vidal. 1st down and angling for the end zone. That's a touchdown. Kamani Vidal. And the Chargers take advantage after the Tagovailoa interception.
That formation reminds me of something I saw at Wisconsin years ago.
Pressure coming again. Herbert in trouble. Herbert keeps it alive. Completes it to McConkey, who stops at a dime. There he goes. McConkey inside the 20. How did Herbert do it?
Andrew, you asked how he did it. Look at the strength of Herbert to shake off Phillips. And then you know what else did it? The lad did it. Look at that move inside, understanding, and what a great job downfield by Hassan Haskins to not clip or block in the back. Essentially, he screened off a defender to save a penalty.
Chargers now down by 10. Vidal on the backfield. Herbert on the move and perfectly placed. Catch made at the 40, extra yards after the grab by Gadsden. 22 yards, and he's slow to get up. Oronde Gadsden II, the rookie from Syracuse.
This is just a great play design and then a great decision by Justin Herbert. It's a little left.
42 yards, shotgun formation. Herbert, pump, throw. Held on, Gadsden. Excellent grab, and he is becoming a legitimate option for Herbert. That covers 30 yards.
Gadsden is a great option. Justin Herbert said he's fun to throw to.
Lost Mike Hilton, shoulder injury, suffered week 5 against Las Vegas, had some injuries in the preseason. Herbert out of the pocket on 2nd and 10. Downfield throw is handled on the sideline. Keenan Allen with the toe tap.
Keenan Allen special. What a grab on the sideline with the toe tap. Just so pretty. Incredible ball. Herbert had to scramble out a little bit. The O-line gave him a good pocket to start. Move the ball down the field.
No Joe Alt today. No Trey Pipkins today. Step up. Herbert delivers downfield. The catch is made by Gadsden. And Gadsden, with a flag down, continues to take it downfield. The penalty marker thrown back at the 41-yard line.
Be aggressive, and they get aggressive. Gadsden just gets open despite the hold from Cross, and then it's the run after the catch. Huge, huge play. You could feel this entire building come alive.
Herbert, fake the handoff. Dials it up. End zone. Touchdown! A strike to Johnston. Chargers trying to claw their way back into it.
Really tight quarters there. They run a double crosser route, which caused...
Fake the handoff. Herbert out of the pocket. Avoids the sack. Throws for the touchdown. A low pass is handled for the score. Keenan Allen. That is a special connection.
Just a pro's pro, knows exactly what he's doing. Settles into a zone spot, you'll see right here.
Rushes on. Herbert steps up. Herbert throwing on the move. Catch, turn, touchdown. Justin Herbert delivers to Gadsden. And the Chargers remain alive.
You're going to see Jermaine Pratt right there. He's just going to slide inside at the last second as he sees that scramble attempt, which opens up the passing lane.
7.5 minutes. 3rd and goal on the 14th play of this drive. To the end zone. Caught. Touchdown. Gadsden.
Here's your matchup right here. And good job of giving him just enough time. Good stem there to sell it to the outside. That's a matchup you're thinking you're going to win. And then Joe Alt, who again is at left tackle against Bernard. Good spin move to get in towards Herbert. And here's the taunting penalty after he beats him in a one-on-one matchup.
What more can you do to help him?
Yeah, we'll try to help on the edges. We'll try to help inside where we can, see if we can get the ball out. We've had a good chance to use some quick passing over the last few weeks. We'll see if we can do that and get some catch and runs for some of our guys. Thank you.
And back to live action. We talked about Herbert and his scrambling and averaging 12 yards per scramble. Here he goes again for a gain of 18.
And a really good job of feeling the linebacker.
Chargers got him in the 6th round last year. Matlock moving. Play action. Herbert just throws wide open. Gadsden inside the 40 to the 34-yard line. Whoa.
Here's Vidal again. This time he picks up Dallas Turner, who gets inside. Bang. There's a great blitz pickup, and now you're working from the backside. Herbert felt that pressure, stepped up, and Gadsden, believe it or not, I think he got lost in coverage. Good job of recognizing that.
At the end of the half, and they're going to get the ball again, and here goes Herbert, and Herbert again with a huge gain off the scramble to the 47-yard line, tackled by Cashman. And once again, Herbert leading this team in rushing. 4 carries, 44 yards. That's good for 18.
Watch the 2 linebackers worry about receivers.
2nd and 10. Going for it all. Out in front. Hold in. Lad McConkey. Touchdown.
This is really what he's looking at. If the safety comes down, he knows he's got the one-on-one matchup. It's exactly what he had. And what a job by Lad McConkey, being able to separate. A couple times we've seen him on this drive. Two of the last 3 plays win, and that time just
a skosh. Herbert rolling, looking, throwing, and that's going to be caught for the touchdown by Trey Harris.
Jim Harbaugh and Greg Roman telling us that this young rookie out of Ole Miss has a real opportunity within this offense. Gets better every single week. Here he just mirrors his quarterback in trouble in this.
Ball spotted at the 44. Matlock comes in motion off the play fake. Herbert looking to throw. Pressure's coming. He said as he throws, pass is complete. He's got Trey Harris, the rookie, who's got great size. It'll be 2nd down and 8. A gain of a little more than 2. Vidal moves from one side to the other in the backfield. And on 2nd down, Herbert looking to throw. Stands in the pocket, zips it to the near side. Gadsden's got it along the sidelines, and he's taken down close to the 5-yard line. Amani Hooker makes the tackle. And what an addition this guy has been.
Well, especially when he's that wide open. Middle of your screen, you got 2 guys in zone coverage there. Jalen Armour-Davis thinks he has.
Well, the 2 tight ends on the right side off the play fake. Herbert looking to throw. Pass is complete. Matlock dives into the end zone. Touchdown, Chargers. It's his 2nd reception of the year, and this one is a score. And he gets the celebration, rightfully so.
It's a big man touchdown. He's listed as the fullback. He goes out in the flat. 2nd-level linebackers to potentially stunt to try to get after Herbert again.
Bunch formation of receivers. Herbert looking to throw quickly. He's under pressure. Moves the pocket. Throws to his left. Pass is complete to his left. Keenan Allen's got a 1st down inside the 30-yard line, and he's knocked down at the 28-yard line. KJ Winston makes the tackle.
Man, you know it's bad, Tom, when there's 2 guys that are wide open. I wasn't sure who Herbert was throwing to, because watch, both Gadsden and Keenan Allen are
Chargers go to work, down 4. 12:04 to play here in the first half. Herbert goes to McConkey, and McConkey is able to stretch it across midfield and inside Titans territory.
Well, that's a tough matchup. Look at McConkey working against zone coverage. Cedric Gray gets behind him. You know, Cedric Gray can run, but he's never going to be able to run with I'm trying to single-handedly make it not cool anymore. I think it's working.
1st down. Herbert going to the end zone for Johnston. He's got it. Throw it over the top of the defender. It's a 20-yard touchdown pass from Herbert. And it's the 50th time in his career he's had a multi-passing touchdown game.
I can't even tell you how good that throw was by Herbert, but I'm going to try.
Right before the 2-minute warning, Herbert gets a playoff. He pumps a few times. Now he runs. He hasn't run all day, but he's going to run for the first down and more. Inside Titans territory, out of bounds. With the play clock winding down, he sees something, looking for Johnston. Makes the shoulder grab, off shoulder grab. He got it.
4, you throw a back shoulder fade to Quentin Johnston. Baker had pretty good coverage. Credit Johnston for the adjustment there.
Big time.
And to get the feed in. You know, I always look at Johnston as a running catch guy.
The 1-yard line of Los Angeles. They fake the shovel pass. Herbert rolls the pocket. Now heads toward the end zone. Slides in safely. Touchdown Chargers. 26-17. Well, he didn't stay for all 18 innings of the World Series game the other day, but he certainly picked up a few things on that slide.
Well, I love the fake. He gets out. There's nobody out there. You know, everybody.
Because we're down to 16 seconds left. Herbert throwing inside. Touchdown, McConkey. Lad McConkey's 4th of the year. The game's first touchdown. And the Chargers take advantage of the interception.
Here he's going to watch this. 1, 2, 3, and wide open. That is the hardest play in football, in my opinion, to try to cover. And Herbert just threw a rocket right in there before Jalen Ramsey could get there. Or why are they getting so much pressure on Herbert? Because they trust Ramsey on the back end.
3rd and 6. Herbert taking off. A lot of room. First down, slides down at the 44-yard line. Gain of 16 as Herbert saw a lot of backs and took off. First down, Chargers.
One of the first times tonight that you've got all these people, and yet they only rushed 3 was what I initially counted. There's a 4th one rushing, but that allowed that B gap to.
3rd and 6. It's Allen's down. Herbert throws. McConkey's got it. He's gone. McConkey chased by Ramsey. 20. Stops his feet. Cuts back inside to the 13-yard line. Jalen Ramsey forced him back inside, but a 58-yard gain for Lad McConkey.
It's just a sizzler. I mean, there's no room to throw that ball. There's just nowhere to throw that ball. He just threw it anyway, and it just sizzled right by Brandon Eccles, who was in perfect position. Somehow McConkey holds on, and this is one of the powers of having Jalen Ramsey. Only a Jalen Ramsey could keep that one from being a touchdown.
Houston come back and win that football game in the 4th quarter.
Herbert fakes the pitch. Herbert going to run for it near side. He's got a Chargers first down.
But he is a guy that you really want on the field, especially in 3rd and long.
Herbert protected. Herbert puts a man under it, and it is caught. Boy, that's a Hall of Fame catch by a guy who could be in Canton one day. Keenan Allen going up high. A pickup of 30 and a massive play for the Chargers.
I mean, how much time does Herbert have in that pocket?
Chargers can get a first down without scoring a touchdown. Herbert standing in there again, now throws, it's complete. Johnston pinballs in, touchdown! Quentin Johnston with his 7th touchdown of the year. And a drive that took up nearly 9 minutes culminates in the Chargers' 5th opening drive touchdown of the year.
Chargers going to an empty set. You're going to see Johnston coming across here.
Play action. Herbert throwing. He's got a wide open Gadsden inside the 5. The rookie tight end picks up 28 yards, and it's 1st and goal for Los Angeles.
And this seemed like an easy release for Gadsden to get right up the seam, right up the middle of the whole thing, and there it is. And it just parted in terms of coverage. Guys who were in.
McConkey in motion on 3rd and 2. Herbert looking to run, buying time now, throws, caught, touchdown! Lad McConkey
he had him early on this play as well.
When he didn't get him early, McConkey finished the route and then came back. And that's what got him open on the second movement, right? The second reaction, as you noted, had him early, didn't get it to him. So McConkey faked like he was moving deeper into the end zone and then came back towards the pylon.
So Sully lined up in the backfield next to Justin Herbert, who drops back to pass on 3rd down and 7. Drops it off for Sullivan. He's got a lot of space. Sully down the sideline. He's still going. James P. Sullivan getting all 766 pounds moving for 60 yards on the catch and run.
What a great play by Sully. Credit quarterback Justin Herbert.
2nd down and goal. Herbert, wide open, touchdown, rookie, Omarion Hampton. Welcome back. Seen Herbert hand off to his right, and now we see him complete to Hampton for the first points of the night. Chargers on top, 7-0. One reason why the Eagles put a claim in on Darius Slay, who'd been released by Pittsburgh and claimed by the Bills. Herbert's in trouble. Out to his left. He's got his man. What a throw as he hits the rookie Trey Harris. How good was that throw going to his left?
That's as good as it gets. Thing out in front of him where you expected him to throw the football, and to be able to move to your left, get your shoulders turned, and work the ball in the middle of the field and in tight coverage. I mean, that's great coverage and just an outstanding. You couldn't place it any better. It's a He's made a lot of those over his short career.
Jordan Davis on the sideline for Philadelphia. Pressure on Herbert. Steps through. Has a ton of room. 1st down Chargers. And once Herbert got through that initial rush, he's able to get 15.
Yeah, and Vidal, he does a good way these defenses have been playing tonight. Might not be all bad to get the ball the 3rd time, so Chargers might be in a good spot.
He did it again. Herbert keeps it, and a big pickup. Blankenship forces him out, but Herbert pulled it out of there and carried it for 12 yards over the right side as he continues to gut it out.
Yes, Phillips, he comes down.
Minimal wind, as we talked about. You just saw Dicker warming up. The running back is Vidal. And Herbert to the air. Here comes Jones, and the pass caught. Harris caught the ball at the 25 of the Chiefs. He is down. And Herbert.
First, it starts with, that's an incredible catch. And he's able to bring it in. Looks like the ball hits the ground, but does it move? Does he have control of it? That's why he's down. I believe he got the wind knocked out of him landing on the ball like that.
Working on the rookie Noel Williams. And that arm may have been under it, but it was moving. You could see.
McConkey had a punt return that he let go because he couldn't completely see it.
Idell the back, 3rd and 3, Herbert. Here comes Karlaftis, and to the end zone. Caught! Touchdown! Grabbed on the play by Lambert Smith. His 2nd catch of the season, 1st career touchdown reception.
Better because he steps up in the pocket. Watch him as he secures it, gets both feet down. I guess we're going to have to take another look at this now. Let's see if he hangs on to the ball. It's coming loose.
But then grab.
I know. Let's see if it hits the ground, though. Nope, it looks like he keeps his hand underneath it.
Hampton the back. 2nd down 5. Opening drive of the 2nd half. Matlock on the move. And play action by Herbert. Sets up. Here comes Karlaftis. There goes the ball. Caught inside the 5. What a grab made. Gadsden. Go Chargers.
Well, once again, Herbert's going to use his legs after the play fake. Now watch as he tries to escape. He steps up right here, and as he steps up, he throws it. And I don't even know how it got that far, going end over end that way. And Gadsden coming up.
When they're 3rd and 6 plus, that's where Herbert gets hit, gives up sacks, and it's really problematic for this offense.
So these 2nd down and 7 plays are big. Shot down the field, end zone. It is held on to by Johnston for the touchdown. The Texas native with a fabulous catch for the score.
Boy, it is good to have Quentin Johnston back. He is their big size receiver. They're down the field threat, but could not have thrown this ball any more perfect.
Just a four-man rush this time for Dallas. Herbert's got a man down the sideline. McConkey for the touchdown. Separation for McConkey against Diggs, and a dime from Justin Herbert to take the lead for LA.
That's what this. It looks like they clear this thing out, and then you're going to get basically McConkey coming down.
It's going to be Herbert with the push from Matlock, and he's in for the touchdown.
And look at this offensive line. There is nothing that this.
Five guys on the line, right? Yep. There it is. Herbert off the play fake, stepping up, climbing the pocket, taking a shot. Johnston! He held on. He is inbounds for the catch, down inside the 25 of Dallas. And the former TCU Horned Frog picks up 50. Another impressive throw and catch.
Look, you have everything what you want as the Cowboys up front with this five-man rush. And when you've allowed him to escape.
Extra body coming for the Dallas pressure. Nearly got to Herbert. They could not contain him. And there he goes sprinting, getting a block, and down inside the Dallas 35.
If you watch this is such a well-orchestrated pressure. I believe it's Kenneth Murray right now, right there. As they distracted the offensive line. He gets a free look at him, but that's when you have to bring a guy like that down. If you give him the opportunity to step out of that, you see what happens, especially when you're playing man-to-man on the backside. But it's man-to-man coverage, so you're just going to have to hold up in man coverage.
Risk reward from the Dallas defense, bringing pressure, but that leaves a man in Johnston. He beats Diggs and the Cowboys secondary for a big gainer and a first down.
Yeah, so if you watch Diggs right here trailing Quentin Johnston, he just ends up staying behind him. I think you just got to be more aggressive and get over the top, and then he tries to undercut. But Quentin Johnston is just too fast once he puts his foot in the ground. If you locate that ball correctly, like Herbert did, hitting him in stride, that's going to be a big conversion every time. Quentin Johnston has been there.
Herbert goes deep for Johnston. He has him. Johnston! Big time play for the Chargers, down to the Texans 14.
And that's one of those throws that not everybody in the National Football League can make. He let Quentin Johnston.
3rd and 14. Herbert steps up. He's going to run it. And he's got room. He takes the hit and absorbs it. Justin Herbert.
Coming into the weekend, I thought watching Justin Herbert on tape, we should create a new stat for him. QB yak, yards after contact. You see him go down, the big fella bounces off. Stingley right there. And it just fires up his entire team. It fires up the defense on the sideline.
Herbert keeps, rolls, touchdown! Johnston! Chargers! 17-9, extra point pending. One score game.
Great play call here. Heavy personnel, everything looks like run. Gadsden's on the left-hand side. He's going to sneak back behind everybody. Good.
Justin Herbert from his own 25 down 10. Has time, and he's got an open McConkey. Right on cue. To the Texans 44, gain of 31.
A great play call right here. We're going to put the post over the top with Keenan Allen, and then it's just going to be an out.
It's a fresh set of downs from the 35. Herbert over the middle. Gadsden has it and keeps possession. Lassiter on the stop. The Chargers are set up on the Houston 10-yard line.
Well, the free safety stays back.
For them to trust him the rest of the way.
After the loss of a yard, he's in as a blocker as Herbert looks for a space and finds Lad McConkey. Little move by McConkey, and he'll go down at the 47-yard line. It's a gain of 19 and a first down for the Chargers.
Well, first of all, let's just say this. That was a tremendous job by a much maligned offensive line of the Chargers. And anytime you're going to give somebody like the slot player, Lad McConkey, that much time, they have to go attack that position because he has been the one that's been stopping them all night.
Herbert's trying to find some space. He's taking off, trying to take it in his own hands. He made a great move. Herbert jump starts the drive, knocked out of bounds at the 47-yard line. Big run for a first down for Justin Herbert.
Well, and you're going to see a different approach, I think, now out of the Patriots on defense without Gonzalez.